loves you.
You'll be mine forever, even though you're far away. I still know we need to move in. We are together. Time I think of you and it takes me to a special place in my mind where we can be together. And I still hope that you'll be mine forever, even though you're far away. I still know we need to move in. We are together.
What's going on, guys? Today I want to show you something that I've always wanted to do since I've seen it, and I got to do it this trip when we went to Myrtle Beach. And so now I get to cross it off my bucket list. But I got to fly a flyboard. It was the most awesome and nervous thing that I've probably ever done in a long time. So let's just start off this story completely from scratch. So this story begins like a week or two before I ever went to Myrtle Beach. I seen it in one of those Myrtle Beach coupon books, and I had never seen that before, and it was like $15 off to do that. And I called the company like a week in advance, and I couldn't get anyone. I just got answer machines, they called me back and stuff like that. So when I went to set up the date to go down there, and we actually drove down there to do it, there was no one there. It was closed, and it was closed all week. We went by there once or twice, and it was just closed all week long. And so I didn't get to do it, and that was kind of bumming me out, because it was like we were there for like a week, and that was something that I really wanted to do when we went down there, and I hadn't been able to do it. So we go to one of our favorite restaurants, Dead Dog Saloon, which is down near Myrtle's Inlet, and we were sitting there and we're just eating or whatever, and we're having a good time. Like, I wasn't fixating on not being able to do it, but it was in the back of my mind. And we're sitting there eating in Myrtle's Inlet. And Myrtle's Inlet is like it's a water. It's like it's a inlet. And I sit there and everyone's like in mid conversation. There's a bunch of us. There's like 8 of us eating, and we're eating all around the table. And then like all of a sudden, I just look out the window to my left, and I scream. I'm like, there it is! and everyone just has like I had been shot. Like they had this blank stare, and I'm like, look, 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 there it is, there it is, there it is, it's over there. And I seen way out in the distance that someone was flyboarding out there. And so we went, me and my dad, and we all took pictures beside dead dogs. And then we went over to this marina place where like the boats can dock and jet skis and stuff. So we went over there and we started asking around. We're like, how do we do that? And then they're like, talk to Craig in the back or something. He says, that's not in our program. That's his thing. So we go back there and we find him, and he's flying someone out. So when he comes back in, we start talking to him, and then we're like, there was no price or anything anywhere, because we just randomly found it, and we went out there and looked, and randomly he come back in, and he was like, yeah, I was like, is there any way that I could do the flyboard? And he charged a hefty amount for it, and if I was gonna do it, I wanted to film it because I like to film everything. And but I didn't know that that's where we're going, so I left my GoPro and everything at the house. So I wanted to film it, and he was like, well, how far is your hotel or whatever? And he's like, I don't have my GoPro. And I was like, well, it's like an hour away, like it's like 30 minutes one way. So ran inside, went all the way back. We had an hour before he left for the day, and that would be it. So we went 30 minutes back to the hotel, grabbed the GoPro, put on the swim trunks, just didn't even, no sunscreen or anything, just took off running out the door and headed way back down there. Got back there, it was like 50 minutes. We were cutting it close to the deadline. Come back, and he was sitting there like on his phone or whatever in the shade. And he goes, wow, you guys come back fast. And he started going over, signed my life away on the waiver, and he started trying to teach me. And it's like so cool when you first go out there. You wanted to like, he's like, you have to ride straight and you have to keep like this, and because he's going to give it the gas from the jet ski to push the water out of the thing, so out of the flyboard. So when you're sitting there, you look like a freaking mermaid coming in on the water because you're just going across the top. But what I was upset with him, and I ended up messaging back, but he never said anything, was that he's not a filmer. I mean, I know he's there for my safety, and that, he's supposed to look out for me. But if I'm going to do it and I'm going to pay the money for it, I wanted to catch it on film or whatever. And we got some of it, and that's what I've been showing in the background. We got some of it, but he got confused on, I guess he was pushing start and stop on the thing, on the GoPro, and he got confused, and then he didn't catch any of me doing the tricks. Like I was swooping, like you fly up, and then he'll say swoop down behind him, behind the jet ski, and you bend your knees, and then you swoop down like that, and you push back up, and you fly it. And and I got to fly around like that. But like, what was so cool about just being on the flyboard in general was when it's almost like, imagine having a ball and having a piece of wood on top of it, and you're standing on the wood. Because I mean, after you kind of get the knack for it, you can just go like boop, and you stand up in the water, and he gives the gas, and you just fly right out of the water, and you're sitting there and you fly around, and it's like this. So if you tilt forward, you're gonna go forward and you're gonna go down. If you just stand still, you'll go up. You tilt back and left and right or whatever like that, and then you can it's kind of like just hovering around, which is why it's called a flyboard. But it was like, I remember when I first got on it, he was like almost drowning me. I was sucking in so much water because he was like, I would fall down, and then he would be like, oh, stand, and I'm like barely recovering, and he's just telling me to go again. And it was so much fun. I was so nervous when we first got out there because when you would stand, my legs was doing this. I'm sitting there, he's like, calm down. I'm sitting there going, just sitting there, and you only got like 30-45 minutes to actually go out there, and that's about all I could do for like a first time, because like my legs were tired by the time I got through the end of it. Come inland, I did crash one heavy time. I went up, and the board come out from underneath of me, and it went up, and since it's jet powered or whatever, the water's thrusting out, went down like that, and then it went straight. I went back first, just hard as I could down into the water. But that was the only really bad time I crashed. I did go a few other times, but that's when I was just trying to get out of the water. But it was so much fun. I was way up in the air, probably 40 or 50 feet up in the air, and just waving. And he was very I came back inland after the whole trip was over, and you know, I rode back in like the mermaid, and it was so cool because everyone was there, and they were like, how did you learn how to do that? And I was like, he just taught me like, you know, 5 minutes or something like that. And it was stand up, and I was shook up on adrenaline or whatever, and I mean, it was so unbelievable. I would recommend doing it again. Wouldn't pay what I paid for it again, but I would definitely do it again. It was so much fun. People were saying, how'd you do that? How'd you do that? And I was telling them what it was. And I had one girl that when I come in, he was like, you did really well. She's like, is that your first time? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, normally he doesn't let people get up, much less start doing some of the stuff you're doing, which is I was talking about the swoop. And of course he messed up the GoPro. So thanks, Greg, for taking me out there. I couldn't find it. I wouldn't have been able to done the experience otherwise. But I really wish, you know, we can go back there and do it again. And get some of those shots or whatever, but you know, most of the trip was just the side of the jet ski. After he got confused, he didn't know what he was doing. He was like, "Yeah, you got some really cool shots," and I was really excited about it. But I went back, I was ended up like I was really disappointed in it, but it was still fun. Really liked it. I did get to cross something off my bucket list on that trip. I want to thank Craig for taking me out there. It was so much fun. Can't wait to do it again. And as always, this has been Shane for Games. Thanks for watching, and keep on playing. What's going on, guys? What's going on, guys? But yeah, this has been, thanks for watching.